Welcome to Trading Lounge, and we're going to have a look at the Australian market, the South African market, and the H shares in China. So for the Australian market, I want to work through two counts. One of them is a bullish count, which is this one here. So the whole move down from 6,000 would be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and we're finished. That's the end of it. And from here, we just go straight up from here. That's a possibility. We just need to track that. On the bearish side of the market, we're looking at, go to a daily chart here, we're looking at something like this here. So we're looking at a much bigger bearish picture here. So in this case, we would consider all of this here down for one. And yes, it's not the best looking five-wave structure as such, but when you start looking at WBC, Westpac, Combank, and those sorts of financial institutions, you can start to see that this five-wave structure down here is actually quite clear. The rally that we've had as an ABC, it's pulled back 50 or 60% roughly, nearly. They're good enough. And the move down through here really sort of represents third wave price action rather than a C wave coming down. A C wave would normally be less sharp than this. So the personality is telling me that this is probably the right count here. So from wave 2 here down to this next wave 1 here, we'll be looking for 5 waves here. We can look for a 50-60% retracement level here, and then down again. But as I mentioned, we've got this bullish count too that we need to respect. So we'll need to track both of them to the upside and find out which one is going to be, if it's going to be a corrective rally or if it's going to be an impulse wave. Okay, so just going back to, well, no, I'll just cut through to the 15-minute chart, see if I can. Might have to go to the 2-hour. Just bear with me for a second. So just on the bearish count here, we would be looking, let's just get this. I haven't been with this chart here for a little while. So, you know, if we're going to get a bearish picture, then we're going to be looking at a corrective rally into this sort of area here. Now, might as well just bring that down onto the line there. So that's the number, right? So an A and a B and a C. Let's just see how this pans out. And yeah, if by the time we get up, as it matures, we should be able to figure out what's what with it, do you know? So let's just run with that. I'll just move that. So, I mean, both, be it corrective move up here or impulse wave up here, the beginning of the structures are going to all start the same. So the A wave here with 5 waves in it, B wave, 3 waves in it. So wave 1 here would be 5 waves, wave B would be, or wave 2 would be 3 waves, and so on. So we may not know for a little while, but I did detect in here that I pointed out the other day on a 5-minute chart or something that there was a 3-wave structure in here. So that might be the fingerprint that the DNA is that small, really. So, but let's go in and have a look. Anyway, 5.5 is a critical point here, and I think that you need to start thinking about. You need to start thinking of two strategies. You know, one for building in on longs above 5.5, and one for shorting down here. You know, longer term, because when you think about it, if this is wave 2 here, and then this is wave 2, we're going into the third, well, this will be the third wave of the third wave, and then this will be down for 1 and back for 2 here of the third wave again. So this is where we get gapping and all those sorts of things, you know. So we could open up on the Monday, quite severely down, so to speak. So just be very careful about what goes on from this point on here. The 5-minute chart here that we'd been working on previously from this low here, one of the first things that I recognized was that this little move here was in 3 waves here. So it's kind of, it can really place this out as a corrective move already, as an A wave here, a B wave here, and then 5 waves up here for the C wave here to make a wave A up here. So I should have done that in black really, but yeah, it appears corrective at this stage here. So this can still be corrective here too, in terms of an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and then up from there. But this A, B, and C here is good enough to see this market work lower from here. So yeah. The other market that I wanted to have a look at that was quite important at this point, talking about bear markets, is the Chinese market, but we're going to have a look at the H shares. Now, this is a daily chart. It's China. To me, this is a very strong. I have a bit of faith in this wave count. It's done all the right things. So from this massive wave 3 up here, we've got primary wave A here, then an A and a B wave and a C wave here, pulling back up 61.8%. So pretty much perfect. And this move down here counts as 5 waves, and we'll look at that in a moment. Not quite finished yet, but once it does finish down here, we'll get a bounce off trading level 1 here. It may sink below the 10,000. That's not the point here nor there, but this move back up here as wave 2 here would really set this up here for for China to really fall out of bed. We're talking about property, we're talking about everything, and that's the thing with the property market, it's even in Australia as well, it tends to follow the share market. It lags, but it follows, and I'm sure we can bring interest rates into that and forecast those as well, and find out where the financial pressure is coming from. But at this stage, it's just, it's just... Yeah, well, it's just the wave count, isn't it? I mean, that's that. But this wave C down here should take out the low here. Now I've got it way down here at 2 here. It may not be the case. It may be squared up here. But normally, if it pulls back 61.8% up here, then it would take the wave low. Wave A low out here, so anywhere between sort of 4 and 2 as such here, and this move down through here, we can have a look at that on the 4-hour chart here. So from the top here, it's a pretty clean wave count, really. It's a little bit jaggedy, but we've got 5 waves here for wave 1, wave 2 here, 5 waves down here, a bit rough for wave 3, nice wave 4 here, down for wave 5 in 5 waves, here's wave 1, back for wave 2, 5 waves down for 3, back for 4 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for 1 here, back for 2 here. So we're sort of in the 5th wave here. So from wave 2 here, we got 1, 2 here. There'll be the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th here for the 3rd. Some sort of bounce off here for the 4th here, and down for the 5th. And then we've got wave 1 completed here. And then we'll start looking at wave 2, which will be an A and a B and a C. And then this bear market that will happen here will move faster than wave 1 here. So you can kind of understand what's sort of going to happen here. I mean, this if you look at this structure here as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then wave 3 going down to 4 and 5, look at that, that's fine. But we can use this whole structure down here, this wave 1 here, as the sort of the fingerprint, really, as the sort of DNA. So this wave 2 here would be this wave 2 over here. So this, we can consider this, all of this here, wave 1, which moved quite quickly here, as the same fingerprint as the whole wave 1 here. So when we start talking about wave 2 here and wave 3 coming into play, it's this strong one here. Do you know what I mean? So you can see the power of that, but this one over this will be the power of the pretty much the whole structure here coming down. It'll start off slow, but it'll just pick up speed and it will really hoot along. So I think there's some really good opportunities to short China at that stage. I'll certainly be interested in myself, because we're starting to track the yuan as well against the US dollar, and that's in the Australian crosses side there, and we can see that we're in primary wave 3 to the upside in that currency. So we're going to see a very strong currency and a very weak share market, and the timing for all of this will be this one over here, this wave 2 coming down here. So I'll certainly be having a crack at that one myself. Alrighty. The South African shares. So this situation here, we've looked at the bearish count before, but I'm just staying with the bullish count for the time being, and I will turn bearish as soon as this low here gets taken out. This one here. But I would only turn bearish to a certain point, and what I mean by that is that this move here, this would be 1 and 2, and wave 3 would come down, 4 and 5. I would have to wait for I'd have to wait for these 5 waves here. So I will turn bearish, but I'll only turn bearish in tracking these 5 waves to this point here, because it can still recover from here as the European markets can, and the Dow Jones Transport as well can do that as well. So that's what we're sort of looking at there, and I've explained this count here, the same count on the DAX and the AEX and the FTSE and so on here. So it's quite viable that this can fit that picture. However, there's a bigger bearish picture looming, which would have this as not wave 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be the whole 5th wave here completed already, and be turning into a bear market from that, following the rest of the world. So let's see that, but it does appear that this will be taken out, and we'll start looking at the bearish count very shortly with this market. Cheers.